Hi, I'm Ramya,
I'm Asant.
and you're listening to an episode of Let's Talk Tamil Movies. Today we're going to talk about Nadigai Tilagam, also known as Mahanati. So the Tamil version is called Nadigai Tilagam, but the Telugu version is called Mahanati, right?
Yep, and it
Okay.
was released in another language as well, I think Malayalam, right?
Yeah. All right. So before we actually start talking about the movie, I'm probably gonna refer to the movie more as Mahanadi than as Nadigai
Yeah,
Tilagam, but I think it's not a problem. I'm just gonna say it before
yeah,
then thinking about it later. It's a 2018 biographical film about the late actress Savitri. It's about her struggles, her success, and what she believed throughout her life.
yeah, and it goes through kind of her side of her achievements, and it's like we're reading about her something, right? That's how Samantha finds out about Savitri, right?
Oh yeah, so like that was one of my
Even
favorite parts of the
yeah,
movie that instead of the film could have just been about, Savitri being
straight
a little
up, yeah,
girl and then growing and stuff like that. But then they put Samantha, and Samantha plays a journalist, and this journalist is just finding out about, not just finding out, she knew that Savitri was an actress, but never really knew about her life.
yeah,
And so it was like we learned as well as so did Samantha's character. So it made the movie a lot more relatable for people who don't actually know anything
know her,
about
yeah,
Savitri. Yeah, so
exactly,
it was
yeah,
like a nice way to you also got to see the way like Samantha changed. Samantha.
yeah. This kind of like they're saying we can kind of learn from
Yeah,
Savitri in our
exactly.
own lives as well. Yeah.
Exactly. So I felt like it could have been just a basic
It's
film, but
Yeah,
like doing this made it very relatable.
yeah,
So I believe the movie was a huge hit. Not too sure, but it was actually my favorite 2018 film. And when you watch the movie and you start to like get to know her, it's just like mind blowing. So with that like in mind, like I didn't know anything about the actual actress. I didn't think I would like end up liking this movie,
yeah.
but it definitely took me by surprise. It was the way it was told and the way it was done. Everything was really good about this movie.
Yeah, it's one of those movies, after you watch it, you think about it and just
Yeah,
like, oh, I don't know if it changes you, but it like does something.
especially with how sad Savitri gets by the end of the movie, you kind of start feeling bad for her. And I
Yeah,
felt like even after the movie was done, you still felt bad for her considering all the good things she's done. That was something that I kept thinking about like after the movie was done as well.
yeah. So it's directed by someone called Nag Ashwin, and he's quite young. He's 34, and he's done another Telugu movie called
Mm-hmm.
Yavada Subramaniam.
Subramania. Yep.
Yeah, Nani. Yeah.
It was Nani and Vijay Deverakonda.
Oh, okay.
That's the only similarity he had between this movie and Stepped Up in a whole other level. Like the
Yeah,
directing, the writing, and everything. Like it's much more thought through for this film. It might also be because Savitri was big in the Telugu cinema, so then
yeah,
he probably had like he can't like how do I say he had a set of standards that he can't lower. If you do a bad film about her, you will get like
yeah.
bad name and hate from the Telugu community. So I feel like that might have also stressed him out, and he did like amazing writing and directing for it. Anything else you would like to say about the director?
Yeah, he did the movie really well, and I look forward to see what else he does in the
Oh,
future.
one of the other things was like the story, like the entire movie. You never like, oh, I just said like, you never thought that like Savitri was bad or anything like that. You always kind of like stood by her side. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
even with
It's kind of from her perspective, so because we kind of get why she did what, and it's not
exactly.
one of the because we see it from her perspective.
Yeah, which is why I thought that like the movie had the ability to convince the audience that I don't know convince is the right word, but like everyone sided by her. Like we understood her and we wanted like as her story goes through, like we're just supporting her. We don't really care about anybody else in the film.
Yeah,
And I thought like in order for you to do that, that's kind of you do watch movies where like you love the protagonist a lot, but it's different when like you see the protagonist do bad things and you're still supporting them. Not bad things, but like she kind of like starts doing self-sabotage and you're still kind of like, oh, I get what she's doing that for.
yeah. And I like how the director actually he must have done a lot of research to
Mm,
know what she did and kind of him try to get into her shoes so the audience can as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think he did a good job with that too.
Yeah,
But then again, we don't know much about Saudi for us to say that.
yeah,
Like I feel like the obviously like older generations who've watched like Savitri and like probably heard like gossip and read
yeah, stuff
newspapers
like
about
that.
her
Yeah,
might yeah might know like a bit more than what we know from this movie. But even when they released this movie, one of the daughters, stepdaughters, actually came out saying this perspective isn't right. This is not true, right? Which is like I think this happens with every film that's a biographical film. Like always other people come out saying, "Oh, this isn't true. This isn't true." But the director actually said we actually told her the storyline and the story about the movie and she actually like
agree.
accepted it.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then she was like, "No, I don't do this after the film." So it's like
that's a bit too late.
yeah, which is kind of like we don't know what the actual story is of Savitri for us to be like that the person who is denying all this is wrong. So it's just kind of going there with an open mind.
Okay, I think Samantha and Vijay Deverakonda should have won national awards for this movie. So I'm leaving this podcast now. Screw Mahanati.
Okay. No, no. He did not do like at least Samantha's character got self-development, character development, and had a role to play. He just like
At one
spent
point,
his character.
he tried to copy Gemini Ganesan,
Yeah,
and
exactly. So
that's what all I remember.
his character just kind of supported her through
Yeah,
her ups and downs.
yeah. Right, they got nominated for a lot of awards, but they ended up winning. Uh, they still won Best Film for a lot of the award ceremonies and Best Actress as well. And the director did get, I think, two awards for Best Director, and then even costume design got an award for national.
Gee,
Yeah,
I love the
I
costume
didn't. They
design.
did pay attention to the costume. Like when I would see, yeah, like you wouldn't see any of the characters dressed to like the wrong time period. Did you notice that? Like
Yeah,
all of them looked like they were from that time.
yep. Obviously, the time period that Samantha was in was like a couple years later, and you can see the difference
Yeah.
between the two of the characters as well.
Was they even for like the sign awards, they won for best stylist, best costume designer, best makeup, best child artist. Okay, they were
Child
basically
artist.
won pretty much every single award there. And then
So, in my opinion, I think there's two separate casts. Not that Dulquer Salmaan and Kirti Suresh are one cast, and then Vijay Deverakonda and Samantha are one cast, but more of there's a main cast and then there's a surrounding cast, a supporting cast, I guess, in another
yeah,
way, where I would want to put like the four actors and characters that I just said as a main cast, and then the surrounding cast would be like Naga Chat, not Naga Chaitanya,
yeah, chai,
like
yeah,
like Bhanupriya and who plays like her aunt and her uncle.
and
I
a
guess her
dad.
uncle would be her main character,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, and then like Shalini Pandey plays like Susila. Like those would be like supporting characters. Her mom, they're all like supporting. They weren't like main.
yeah,
All right, so that's what I think about the cast. I think it is a huge cast, but like there's a separation between
yeah,
the stories being focused on just these four guys. Yep. So Kirti Suresh plays Savitri,
yeah,
obviously. This was an incredible performance.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I want to talk about. Like to know that she did minor roles before this, where she played like the the lover girl and like she comes and does songs and
Disappears.
goes. It's
Yeah,
kind yeah, and it's like she had this ability in her, and there was no movies to showcase that until this.
but
So
why do you think
definitely,
that is? Is it because of the kind of movies that are popular, or is it because she didn't choose those kind of movies?
I think it's with choosing the type of movies they want to do versus what keeps them like speculated,
Yeah,
right?
true.
Like she knew that if like you do a film with Vijay, right? Obviously, people are going to talk about you and you're going to do
Yeah,
more movies. But
yeah,
if you do like a film with a lot of acting in it and like her being able to prove herself also does the same thing. But the difference is you have to get those opportunities. So
uh,
maybe opportunities like this weren't given to her before and she had to choose movies like that. She definitely like convinced the audience that she's Savitri. She
yeah,
just became this character. Not sure if she became exactly like how Savitri was, but definitely how the movie wanted, maybe. And she became, I believe she also gained weight in the film for the film as well. Just so that, at certain points, Savitri does gain weight in her like life story. So she does it as well for this film. And what else is there? So she definitely made you connect to the character, whether it was when she's like young and feeling sad because she hasn't ever had a real experience with her dad, to her like being successful in her movies. You felt her through her pain and her happiness. And I thought, oh, that was something I always wanted to mention. So whenever an actress or an actor are playing a character and they're sad and you feel that pain, that's when they're doing like really good acting. So when Kiki Suresh was like, you know, getting drunk and sad about everything and you felt bad for her, that's when I was like, whoa, she just like convinced you that you're a part of this journey. Oh, and also what I wanted to say was in the beginning when Savitri likes Gemini Ganesan, like you see him in such a good light because she sees him in a good light. And then when she doesn't see him in a good light, you also don't see him that way.
yeah. I would say the same too. So I think she did a really good job in convincing us that she was Savitri, and yeah, I think she deserves the awards and recognition she gained from doing this movie.
So let's move on to Dulquer Salmaan plays Gemini Ganesan. So
Yeah,
this is our second film about Dulquer Salmaan. Anyways, he played a character where he's an actor as well, doing
and
that.
it's his Telugu debut as well.
Oh, yes, that too. But he plays a Tamil character, right? Gemini
Yeah,
Ganesan's a Tamil character, has a habit of talking in a manner of you don't know if he's joking or not. And I thought that was kind of cool. Like all of the dialogue, you were kind of confused as to if he's actually hinting at something else and he's making fun of you or just being unsure of what he's saying actually. What else is there? He played a character where you actually really like him in the beginning, and by the end you're kind of, I don't want to say you hate him, you're just kind of disappointed in him. Only thing is you never actually hate the character just because Savitri never actually hates him. And since as the audience you genuinely are only seeing her perspective and understanding her perspective, you never come to a point where you hate this character.
yeah.
Um, don't really know anything about the character himself, like who Gemini Ganesan is, but you didn't see the character develop at all. He was the same guy he was in the beginning, and yeah. What else is there? Love the costumes.
Yeah, so Dalka did a really good job, but guess who did a better job? Samantha, who played as Madhurani, who so she plays a journalist who's about to get married, and she wants to make a she wants to write a good article before they make her get married. So she's trying to get a good topic or whatever because so far they've just been giving her just like simple stories to write. So so they give her one about Savitri and she kind of, I mean, she does it but she kind of dismisses it as like a simple thing because she didn't really know who Savitri was. And then as she learns about Savitri more, like the audience we do as well, and I think the way she uses it. So we did say how whatever, like she kind of learns from Savitri in a way as she finds out about her past. and that makes it relatable, like you said. And
When
yeah,
Bonnie starts learning about Savitri and starts to like understand her as a person, she gets inspired by her. Savitri stood up for the things like she believed in, right?
uh,
And
yeah,
that's why she was like, whoa, like I understand that you might not like this, but it's something I have to do. And she tells that to her dad. So I don't think it's rebelling. I think she was just inspired by how Savitri stood up for the things
okay,
that
yeah,
she
yeah,
wanted.
yeah. That's what I think I'm
Yeah.
into.
And then what else is there? Yeah, I think you said everything, but I just loved her outfits and her glasses were so
Yeah,
cute.
yeah, she was pretty. And next we
Yeah.
have another person, Vijay Deverakonda, who didn't have. So we're kind of going, as we are going through the characters, we're kind of saying people who have less of a important role in a way. So Vijay Deverakonda, he had less to do in the movie because usually we are used to him him being. So
On
this is a
screen all the
different,
time.
yeah, this is a different movie for him, and he's not a angry person here. He's a calm guy, and he has a crush on Mother Rawani, and he's a, photographer at the same. Is it a newspaper company or what's it
Yep.
called? Yep.
Yeah.
So he ends up assisting uh
No, he's
Wani.
just a
Yeah, I
photographer
mean
for her.
assisting as in like he ends up helping her, right, in a way to
Oh
find
yeah.
the
He
people.
does push her to like
Yeah,
when remember when she asks the man about Savitri and he starts crying and she just gets ready to leave and he's like no no
yeah.
no just
No,
because he's
yeah,
crying. Yeah, I guess
yeah.
so in a
I
way
did
he was
just leave.
pushing her
Yeah, yeah,
to be the best.
yeah,
And then also I guess the last cast member we'd like to mention is Rajendra Prasad, who plays Chaudhry, who's Savitri's uncle.
yeah,
He in the beginning of the movie he was very important, and then by the end, like due to their relationship, he kind of like stepped away.
yeah,
But it's not that. Yeah, I think he kind of put a bit of a funny humor side to the movie in the beginning. It wasn't
yeah.
all serious. Definitely would have liked him when everything was starting to become self-sabotage. I would have liked to see him then, but okay. So let's move on to music.
Yep. So the music is by someone called Mickey J. Mayer. Uh, he seems kind of big in Telugu because he's done loads of Telugu movies. Tamil movie, he's done one called Inida, which is a Happy Days remake. So, oh, it's a remake of a Telugu movie that he did music for. So, um, but I don't
Nice.
really. Oh, he done the music for Oh Baby. I think that's the only movie I recognize from the list.
All right, so definitely the background music was really good, especially with the when she gets like successful and the background music starts like popping. I'm gonna say popping because that's how I felt. Um, and then one of my favorite songs was Mahanati, and obviously the song with Focus Saman. But it becomes really sad by the end of that. But other than that, I really like the background music.
Yeah, it did elevate the moments and stuff.
Yeah, even like when she gets like really sad, it gets really dark, and it helped with the scenes.
Yeah.
All right, so what is your favorite scene?
So I would say my favorite scene is when they introduce Samantha. I'm kidding. My favorite scene would be, I think I like it when, when they do that scene where she cries from one eye, right? So that's like the beginning.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
think that's pretty cool. It kind of shows how much of an amazing actress she would have been back in the day
right.
or in the times. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, but then the only thing I'm like, what is how, so with, it was in black and white, right? So even if they did one, like quite a one eye, you can't really see it that well, can you, in black and white?
No, but that's when they told her like it has to like drop two times, right?
Yeah.
So they would have seen it then, I think.
Like in real life, they can see it, but when you're watching it in black and white, would it
Yeah.
be as obvious? I'm not sure.
I don't know. It's not probably, but I think the directors were just like let's see what you're capable of type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
My
what
favorite
was your
scene
first?
was
Yeah.
when Vijay Deverakonda and Samantha go to Savitri's house, and he's taking a picture of the light, and he's doing like a candid moment. He's trying to take pictures of like of not natural things, but things that you don't see that are pretty. But at that time, obviously, photography like that doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. And like Samantha's like, "Can you take picture before you take a picture? Can you ask me?" I thought that was funny because at that
Yeah.
moment, like at that time, they weren't appreciating that. Another moment I really liked was when Samantha's character goes to Savitri and starts talking to her, but she doesn't look at her when she talks and says stuff like, "I want to remember you for your acting, for your success, and not for this." And it's kind of like by the end of the movie, that is what you remember her for, even though like she did struggle a lot through her life. You only remember her for all the good things and those incredible like movies and her like even her acting skills. Like you remember her for that. And that was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
I just said my favorite
Uh,
scene, didn't I?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anything else? Anything else?
Anything else? Uh, yeah, I like that. And then
Oh, the car scene when they
beats
asked
the
her.
other guy.
Yeah, which I found kind of cool. Like, at that time, men probably never took women seriously who drive cars, and
Yeah.
she was racing. That's incredible. So that was kind of super gangster stuff.
Yeah, I think the way they showed how she wasn't just a regular like woman who would just do stuff because people tell her to do it this way. She's actually doing things
Things she
that she
wants
should
to.
be, yeah, yeah, and things she should be allowed to do anyways. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
She wasn't. That was the thing too, right? Like Samantha's character was very defined by her family and by what she can do and she can't do, and
yeah,
Savitri was like the whole opposite. Like she did anything and everything she wanted to do or she believed in. Yeah, sometimes she could have listened to other people, but those were her choices, and I think that's what inspired Samantha's character to also be like, I want to do things I want to do as well.
yeah,
And so I think that's it for favorite scenes. I do have a I don't know what's happening moment,
yeah.
and that's definitely how Gemini Ganesan convinced Savitri to marry him and to be with him. It was literally like
Like
two
after,
seconds.
okay, I think even at the temple place, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I remember seeing him there, and then I remember seeing him get married, and I was like, I don't understand how he convinced her, but he convinced her fast.
yeah. I think that's the thing though about him. Like, haven't you heard of like jokes they make about um Gemini Ganesan being this like super flirty guy or whatever? And like when they make references to him in movies, I
Yep,
think that's why they do it to say how he can convince he's like maybe he's like super romantic or whatever and he can like talk
I
to
thought
people.
they said that
And
because of
plus,
his movie characters.
no, I thought that's what I first thought, and then after I watched this, I did some research and
Yeah,
yeah, we
but
kind
I
of
guess
found out.
after watching this, I think I'd agree too. Yeah, he
Uh,
convinced her so fast. I was like, she wasn't convinced before, right? Like when he tells her, "Oh, I'm a
yeah,
married man,"
I think she
she kind of
liked
like,
him still at that point. It's just that
yeah,
she knew it wasn't right, and
exactly. So she stepped away, which I
yeah,
thought, okay, that's good. Like,
yeah,
she believes in something and it's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But it wasn't what I thought was weird that she didn't continue, right? So then he just kind of convinced her what she was doing was right. So did she like fully heartedly like think, oh, like I want this, or did she just get convinced in the moment of,
yeah.
you know what I mean? But anyways, that was my biggest like
Like,
weird
well,
of the
yeah.
movie. Like,
And the thing
how
is,
did he
too,
do
and
that?
plus, the thing is, in real life, it might have been slightly more complicated, or maybe not.
Exactly.
We don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I was like, that moment's kind of like, I don't know how realistic that moment is.
Yeah.
I think yeah, that's about it. He I want to say something else about him too, but I forgot. Oh, and how he got to like hang out and do stuff while being married. I don't understand. I didn't understand how that worked. You know, like he would like hang out with her at her house
Yeah, and
for
they would
like
go outside. Like he said, how they like he even says how they've been going out together in the middle of like the town and stuff before they were married, and now that they're married,
yeah,
they have to hide it. I'm just like, okay, so people would have like made gossip about it
notice.
by then.
Yeah, so which
Anyways,
is why like I don't understand how his first wife like could have not heard about this, or how Keerthi Suresh could have not heard about it. Just I was like, okay, whatever. Some of the things were just like I don't understand how.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe,
obviously people are
yeah,
gonna do rumors.
yeah. But do you think she would have actually known at some point that he was married, like before he tells her?
Ooh, I have no idea. She should have. I mean, she could
Yeah.
have, but
Because if you like someone, you would have done like found out something about them. You wouldn't just be like, ah, I'm just gonna believe whatever he says. So,
yeah, but the character is kind of like in the moment character, right? Like
yeah.
Savitri is the character who does everything in the moment without like it's more of a if not now then when type of thing.
So Mahanadi slash Nadika Telagam was a really good biographical drama film about Savitri, and we think all of you should watch it on Prime. You can watch it in Telugu, Tamil, or Malayalam. So there's a variety of options, and do messages and new episode every Monday.